Well, ladies and gentlemen, due to weather delays, and you probably heard us flying over back and forth and trying to land. I was going to introduce Jim, but hey, you know Jim, you know him. I want to add a couple of words because his election is extremely important to you and to me. I have tried it with my vote being canceled on every important issue I voted on. With Jim Talent, Jim and I will represent the sound conservative Midwest values that you want to see represented in Washington. And this is a clear-cut campaign. The differences on the issues are so clear. But the most important thing we can do now is that get out the vote effort. Now, I've been telling people that lots of folks have forgotten about 1986. 20 years ago, that was an election in the 6th year of President Reagan's term. This is the 6th year of George Bush's term. And it's tough on Republicans in the 6th year of a Republican president's term. I was running that year for the first time. And that was a year that 7 Republican incumbent senators were knocked off. Yet in Missouri, we had the greatest grassroots organization around. Many of you were part of it. Some of you were too young to know about it. But I want you to know about it because right before the election, I was behind in the polls, 3%. And I had a knot in my stomach the size of a softball. But I had in my heart the feeling that we could turn it up. And we did. Not because I was so good looking or so smart, but because you worked so hard. You elected me to the United States Senate to serve Missouri, and I'm very proud to have done so. And I want you to do the same thing this time. You know, the differences are so clear in this campaign. For the farmers, Jim passed the renewable fuel standard. His opponent opposed the bill. He passed the Combat Meth Act. His opponent opposed the bill. When it comes to taxes and comes to growing the economy, Jim supported the tax cuts of 2003, which left more money in the pockets of individual families, working families, and small businesses. And you know what? Giving them that break allowed small businesses to create jobs. 6.8 million jobs since 2003. The unemployment rate down to 4.4%. And his opponent is opposed to keeping those taxes low. That is one big difference. You can get a $2,000 a year increase in your tax bill if Jim Talent doesn't go back to the United States Senate. And that is bad news.
Well, I'm glad you got here.
Yeah. Now listen, there's another thing. If, for example, you had tax shelters in Bermuda, for example, you wouldn't have to pay, you don't have to pay any taxes. You don't have to pay taxes on all that income you receive. That's why they call it a tax shelter. If you have a tax shelter, it sounds good to you to raise taxes on everybody else because they don't affect you. Well, you and I and Jim pay taxes in the United States, and we know how important it is. And that's a very important reason to elect Jim Talent and to work hard. But let me tell you, one other thing. We saw on Halloween the scary face of the liberal Democratic Party. And coming back like Frankenstein out of the grave was the specter of anti-militarism. And John Kerry said, if you're stupid, you'll wind up stuck in Iraq. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that tells you what their attitude is, what their thinking is. Unfortunately, John Kerry had it all wrong. He said it was just a joke. Well, the joke is that email that everybody's seen on the internet with the 8 troops in Iraq holding up this misspelled sign telling them, help us, Mr. Kerry, we are stuck here in Iraq. And they were laughing at him because they know the people of America support the troops. They support the men and women overseas. And as a proud father of a Marine who spent 13 months in Fallujah and is getting ready to go back this winter, I can tell you that the young men and women who are serving are a whole lot brighter than a lot of politicians give them credit for. But they know that we cannot cut and run or cut and jog. When I asked Sam what he thought about the cut and jog proposal to get us timeline to move us out, he said, the terrorists have a calendar. They'll know, and they can declare victory on the day after we leave. Why does that help us fulfill our mission? It doesn't. We've made too many sacrifices. We have succeeded in our military mission, and we've got to keep Iraq from becoming a safe haven for terrorists once again. He said, I'm not wild about going back to Iraq, but I'd sure as heck rather do that than to see all our sacrifices go for naught. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the view of the troops who represent America, who serve America in Iraq and Afghanistan, and they need our support, and Jim Talent is the one to give them that support, and with your help, we're going to do it. Jim Talent will fight to keep the economy growing, protect small businesses, give America's troops the support they need. That's why we are out on the field. And my wife, Linda, hey, back here in the back, and I are pleased to travel with Brenda and Chrissy and Mike. Did you win or something? No. Great, congratulations. And, of course, Jim Talent, with your help, ladies and gentlemen, we will be celebrating tomorrow night a great victory to re-elect Jim Talent, our United States Senator. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Oh, she does a little pneumonia.